Man, how you doing?
Great. Just got off a long tour, just relaxing and not doing shit.
Man, that's the life right there.
Yeah,
It's gotta be
doesn't happen
nice.
very often to not do anything, but man, I'm taking full advantage of it.
Man, is it, speaking of that, man, the further you get in your career, is it easier to adjust from going on the road, that's how kind of scheduled, to really having nothing to do?
No, it's worse, way worse.
Okay.
Yeah, like it takes me. It used to be I could get right into it. Now, God, I can't sleep when I get home. All kind of stuff. It's crazy.
Wow. Man, I can imagine it'd be tough to. I wouldn't be able to the adjusting and all that would be hard for me to do, man. So I mean, hats off to you guys for being able to do that, just
Thanks,
time and time
thanks.
again.
It's not like we came back from the Iraq War or anything, but it's a
This is
little
true.
difficult. It's not near as crazy as what some people have to go through, but yeah, it's different. Yeah, the older I get, when I come home and my schedule's way messed up, and
I bet.
and so I'm up all night, and so thank God Daredevil's on Netflix.
And Netflix changes everything. I
It
mean,
does. I started Daredevil last night, and oh man, I'm almost halfway through the whole thing already.
nice, man. Um, man, the album, Anything That Moves, it's been out for, came out, what, I think August or so of last year. It's been
Yeah.
out for about 5 or 6 months now. But man, looking back on that album, writing it, creating it, and releasing it, what stands out to you about Anything That Moves?
We were a full band again. Uh, Everybody worked and everybody showed up and everybody was sober and everybody, you know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't like life got to us and there was a couple people doing it, this week and then a couple people doing it the next week. It was, we rented a rehearsal space. The two newer guys, I wouldn't call them new now because
Right.
they've toured with us both 2.5 to 3 years, and they were just a joy to write with, and it was like a breathed new life into the band. Everybody just showed up at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we wrote till 10 o'clock at night for 2 months, and it was a really good time.
Nice.
It didn't feel like work. It felt like, oh, we're a band again, and ideas are popping off, and electricity was sparking everywhere, and it was just a really fun time.
Nice, man. It shows through on the album. There's so many good songs on this record. I mean, my two personal favorites are Spider in the Dark and Dry Your Eyes. They
Thank you.
definitely, man. I'm actually driving to Iowa today, and I've actually listened to those two have already come on the radio already, and I'm about an hour and a half into the drive, so loving them.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Dry Your Eyes, real personal song. Spider in the Dark is a crazy graphic novel concept that my brother's writing as we speak, and he's been writing it for years. And it's just you'll find out what that song's about, and it's very bizarre.
Nice. I can't wait. Speaking of that song, the video for Spider in the Dark, insane. I mean,
Thank you.
oh my God, yeah, so much going on in that video. I mean,
That was
it's
so much fun to do. We went to Carrington, Ohio, to this little, wasn't little actually, to the Killing Floor, and I mean we're in an actual real freezer. It's really cold, and my brother had this great idea. He's like, I want my hair to be blowing when we're playing. So when they turn on the huge industrial fan, I swear the temperature dropped probably 20 degrees,
oh
23
my,
degrees,
oh
and
man,
then so I had to get naked in the bloodbath in the freezer. It was a lot of. I mean, actually, as much as the anticipation of how this is going to be really cold, and talking to the director, who's a good friend of mine, Paul Cunningham, out of Marysville, Ohio, runs Cool World Photography and Video, and he's awesome. He was telling me all the ideas, and I was like, wow, this is going to be brutal. And actually, it was so much fun, and you know what I mean. It was an experience that I'll never forget, and I loved every bit of it.
nice man. I watched it. Well, today obviously, and then I've seen it a couple times, and I mean, you guys make kick-ass videos. I mean, going back to
Thanks.
even with Sound of Silence, with the cover that you did, that video was off the charts. I mean,
That
dramatic,
was our first. That
emotional.
was our first directorial. That was my first directorial debut. It's a little cheesy, but there's moments in it where I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah,
So we started doing it, being independent. We started doing everything on our own, and not having a record label and huge budgets and things like that. We're like, we'll just do everything on our own. So we just learned how to do everything. Nice. And we're getting better at it every time.
Nice. I feel like you guys are, I mean, the Hell in My Heart was kind of your independent kickoff record. I feel like
absolutely.
3 albums in, I mean, you can tell that you guys are just loving every minute. You guys are having fun with it, and the freedom is really showing in the lyrics, the music, the videos. I mean, on stage.
I would say that's the best part. Is the total freedom of, we're not going to get dropped from a record label. We don't have to worry. I mean, we worry about things, and the state of the music industry is different. Just from 2 years ago, the amount of people that downloaded songs from iTunes has changed so dramatically. I mean, just from 2 years ago. And the amount of radio stations that played rock and roll from 2 years ago. Like Glad You're Dead was this huge success. Burying With My Guns On was a huge success for us, and Glad You're Dead rocketed up the charts, and it was the highest we'd ever charted in our lives. And then, just a year later, a lot of those stations that supported us are now classic rock stations or talk radio stations.
Or they're pop stations now.
Or top 20, yeah. So it's that's a little bizarre, but the other thing is, I mean, with the streaming and how people just stream, it's like, we used to, I mean, make I guess it's not between me and you on a record. We used to make a killing off iTunes. Like, we would be surprised. It was like, I remember when it first started, and it was like iTunes 99-cent singles. How can you make any money? And our first check came in, and we're like, oh my God. Now it's changed to streaming, but we're still in the game. It's like we're still in the game. You know what I mean? When we get into streaming, it's like we're looking at some of the biggest bands in the world right now, and we're not very far behind them on how many streams we get a day and how many streams we get a week on our singles and stuff. So the industry has changed, but what's happening is the live shows are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're learning that that's how you survive as a band. Is you go out and you tour like crazy, and you it used to be you toured to support an album. Now you make an album to support a tour, and totally fine with that.
Yeah, you talked about with Guns being a massive hit, and then I'm Glad You're Dead was.
Oh man, it was amazing. It was like such a laugh in the face of they're dead, they're over. TBT's gone, they're done. Bobaflex can't do anything, and we had this huge. Oh, and then Guns came out, and it was like we sat back and just in your face, everyone just laughed hysterically. Still to this day, that song. I mean, they're still playing it on radio. It's still the #1 requested song on many radio stations. It's just one of those songs that allowed us to turn around and be a band again. Like, okay, we can do whatever, in your face naysayers, because we had a lot of naysayers. When TBT went bankrupt, we were owned by a bank, and we couldn't get our name back, and all our music was locked up in this lawsuit, and it was crazy. And we never thought it was over, but I mean, there was dark times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a second career, for you guys now, because I mean, you had the career with TBT, and then that all happens, and you guys kind of rise from the ashes, and you not really start over, but you start over in a way, and it's like
absolutely. It felt like we were starting over.
Yeah,
and
it was like a career now, kind of, in a lot of ways, because so much more success has come since you went in.
After, since we got, it's one of those stories where I'm smiling right now. It's like people, they're over, and fuck them. I'm sorry, I won't cuss, but
it's all good. You can swear.
Okay, well, fuck them. They're done. A bunch of poser pussies or whatever, and they had their shot and they blew it. And, I mean, I even had people send me horrible text saying that it was our fault TBT went bankrupt and all this crazy shit, and I was like, what? Yeah, and then we had, it was like awful. Alcohol is a wonderful thing. Alcohol will make you think that it's going to be okay.
Well, it sounds like
keep your head down and work, and it'll be okay. And then Guns came out, and we had major record labels coming to the door, banging on the door, like, we want to sign the band, we want to do this, we want to do that. And we were just, had such a bad taste, because TBT was the biggest independent label at the time, and they were great people over there, and they did a lot of things for us, and it was this dream come true. And when Tales from Dirttown came out, they had this major success being a rap label with Lil Jon and Yin Yang Twins and Pitbull and all that stuff. And I mean, the president of TBT said to my face, "We're going to show the world that we are still a rock and roll label, and we're going to use your band to do it." And I was like, "Oh my God!" And then the song "Home" was on the album, and everybody at the record label was flipping out about "Home," and like, this is a hit. And they hired in these big radio guys. And the day that album came out, TBT, 2 days later, they announced they were going bankrupt. So it was one of those, like, oh my God, it's actually happening. It's actually happening. These 5 guys from West Virginia in the garage are doing this, and then it goes bankrupt, and that separates the men from the boys,
And I mean,
and my men stayed strong, and we put our heads down and toured, selling T-shirts to pay legal fees. Couldn't even sell records, and weren't sure if we could keep our name. And we pulled through all that, and Guns came out, and it started all over again. So we decided, when TBT went bankrupt, I'm talking the biggest labels, presidents of the biggest labels, calling my cell phone. And we just decided that who knew what was going to happen with this music industry, and we couldn't physically take another bankruptcy or some other massive blow that wasn't in our control. So we decided to go totally independent, and it was the best thing we ever did.
And in today's day and age, I mean, with like you touched on earlier, everything is changing with the music industry, streaming and all of that.
It's changing extremely fast.
Do you guys have to change anything up on your end to get that success in a different way? Or how do you measure success now? Every
day we have to figure out new ways, and we're constantly researching, reading, and watching. I think the Foo Fighters are a big influence on how to. I watch Dave Grohl for inspiration all the time. I mean, he's like, if you're playing in a club and you're having the best time of your life and you did the best job, you're a successful musician. Mm-hmm. So, I feel that way a lot. And then with the new band lineup and everything, it's like everybody's on the same page, and we're out there touring as hard as we can, and we're gaining new fans every day, and we're watching the shows get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's something, that we've watched happen for years. It's like, okay. And you measure those successes. I don't, when we walk out on stage and the crowd's there waiting on us and they're singing the songs and everybody's smiling, having a good time, and the clubs are getting fuller and fuller, and the T-shirts in the clubs are, the majority have the Bobaflex across the front of them. It's like, there's something that I'm never going to stop doing, and it's not slowing down, and it's a blast. And so what we decided, we're going to start, I don't know what we're going to do on the next record, but I like Dave Grohl, and I want to do some Dave Grohl shit.
That would be awesome.
I want to put out some free shit. Like, hey, here's, maybe not do a full album, maybe do 5-6 songs and get here, take it.
Surprise.
You're not going to buy it anyway, and it's not your fault that you're not going to buy it. Technology has changed, and why would you buy it? So just take it. Just come to the shows if you like it.
Yeah, speaking of shows, you guys, in a couple months, you're going to hit the road. El Nino's anniversary tour. You guys are...
Oh, yeah. Man. 45 days. 42 shows in 45 days.
That is going to be ridiculous. And come on. El Nino's, the 15th, 20th anniversary tour or somewhere around there.
Yeah, and we toured with them in 2008, and it was a blast. It was a massive tour. It was us and this band called Droid, which I thought they were really good, but I was really jealous of their name. It was Droid, just like Star Wars. I was like, that's a brilliant name.
Bobaflex and Droid.
Yeah, they were awesome, but I was like, damn it, they got a cool name. And but it was like 2008, 2009, I think. I can't remember exactly, but I remember doing that tour and wondering what it was going to be like. And they'd come out to support El Nino. They got a fan base that is loyal, and I can't wait to get back in front of them again. Way more seasoned and way more, bringing our fan base along with us, and it's going to be crazy. And they were a great bunch of guys and good musicians, and we've been fortunate. This year, we decided that we were going to support tours a little bit, because we've been headlining since I can remember.
Yeah.
and it's good, and we you know we gain fans and we draw fans, and it's been great. But we decided, you know, this year let's do something a little different. Let's go support and kind of move that exposure along a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be a
So,
different ball game between headlining and supporting. It's almost, I mean, you get done a little bit earlier in the night. You kind of relax late earlier.
you get those people that had, you know, believe it or not. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that's never heard of us. You know, MTV's not around anymore, and things are different, and it's like, you know, the internet is cluttered with millions and millions of bands. So I mean, there's just people out there. We decided to the first tour that we did was Orgy. And it started in December and ended at the end of January. And they were awesome people. They were a great bunch of people, and they drew very well. You know, they had that MTV success, and they kept it going.
It's like their reunion tour, kind of. That's their comeback. So.
Yeah, and they were great live, and they drew very well, and their fans were loyal as hell, and we drew, and together we were having clubs packed from Monday through Sunday. Nice. And it was that I could see it, that, you know, that building of the band process happening faster, you know, almost 3 times as fast. Like, okay, there's a lot of people in the crowd with Bobaflex shirts on, but there's a lot of people in the crowd with Orgy shirts on who've never heard of us.
Right.
Never even, you know, and I heard that a lot. I've never heard of you guys. Where'd you guys come from? And how long have you been a band? And I'm like, oh my God. So then we decided, and it was great though. And we, you know, we met them, we sold them the T-shirts and shook the hands and took the pictures and spoke with them. They promised they would see us next time we came through town. And so when we went out with the Veer Union, Artifice, and Bridge of Grace, all amazing bands, by the way, and amazing people.
Amazing.
We did that tour, and we supported the Veer Union, and we saw people from the Orgy tour showing up. Nice. that we just met the months before, and then we saw new people, you know, that were coming to see Artifice or Bridge of Grace or been big fans of Veer Union for a long time, and we had our crowd, and it was the same kind of thing. It was like between those 4 bands, the clubs were jammed, and there was new people learning about each one of us, and that was a really cool tour because, you know, Artifice and Bridge of Grace are newer bands. God damn, they're good. And the Veer Union, you know, is the same kind of like us. They're around the same. Been out about as long as we have.
Yeah.
So you would see that happening as well. You know, these people that never heard of us or were on the fence or I'd heard of you, but I'd never heard any of your music, and we converted them. And it was an amazing thing. And then we're with the El Nino tour, the same thing's going to happen, and it's going to happen on a much larger scale because El Nino has got this fan base in Texas and New Jersey and stuff where they will, I mean, they're just insane for that band and have been for years. And I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it because the band, like I said, the band's the best it's ever been. Everybody's on the same page, and we're just like a insanely tight machine on stage, and it's going to be, I mean, I can't wait to have that platform to show them, you know, show the people our tunes. And we just did our last show was on this tour was sold out with Brett Michaels, and that was awesome.
That's awesome.
At the legendary Machine Shop. We'd done a show before with Brett Michaels, so when we got to the Machine Shop, his whole band and himself come out, and everybody hugs, and I mean, that guy just sells out clubs, and there's nothing. I mean, it's just, he's the nicest guy in the world, puts on great shows, great to his fans, and his fans accepted us like it was crazy.
That's awesome.
It was one of those cool things. It's a little different when you're opening. You got to rush up on stage and rush off on stage, and you don't have near as much room as you do if you're headlining and all that stuff. But the reward is amazing. You know, you get to play for people that had never even heard of you before, or like I said, on the fence, and it was cool. It's working really well. And once we do the El Nino tour, then we go out and headline, and
awesome.
That's where we start making all the real money back again. When it's our show and we get every dime that comes through the door.
Yeah.
So it was a nice plan to go out and do the support stuff and really gain and like I said, spread the word faster.
Definitely. And as far as the headline, though, have those dates been announced yet? I don't think I've seen those dates pop up yet.
Oh, they will. They're, you know, out of respect to El Nino and all that stuff, we keep it quiet until till about midway through the tour, where our
Okay.
markets aren't overlapping each other and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
they will be announced, and we're doing Sturgis this year, and we're doing Rock Fest and all that stuff. I mean, we're doing
Nice.
some pretty major festivals. We're doing Earth Day Birthday in Orlando, which this will be the second time. But I mean, I remember a friend of mine moved from West Virginia to Florida. I mean, in like the 8th grade, and he would call me and be like, Earth Day Birthday, Earth Day, you have to play Earth Day Birthday. If you ever get down this way, you have to play Earth Day Birthday. And, you know, we're playing it, and just all these great festivals.
Nice,
I'm
man.
bummed about Rock on the Range. We've played Rock on the Range twice,
I was gonna say
and
you
it's
guys haven't been there in a couple of years now. It's what 2012 was the last you were there.
yeah, and it's the most amazing
I love that
experience.
festival. I mean, I don't know why you guys got to get back to that festival. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. I'm like I think we got a good shot at it next year.
awesome.
I mean, when you put 70,000 people in one place and they're
Yeah.
all wearing black T-shirts with skulls on them, screaming lyrics at the stage, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I wasn't able to catch you guys at Rock on the Range, and we were super bummed because I still have yet to every time you guys come through, I can't make it to the show, and so hopefully
Where are you out of?
we're in Indianapolis. I had somebody when you played the fifth quarter last year, so I had somebody there for me covering, so I wasn't able to get there. But man, I'm hoping, whether it's El Nino, if I have to travel this year, I'm going to see you guys live for once.
Oh, we'll be through
So,
Indianapolis, and I mean we're not stopping. Once the El Nino's done, we head out on our own. I mean it's kind of overwhelming with having a woman at home. It's
yeah.
like, I'm excited for the band, but I'm really not excited to share the tour schedule.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome for our career, and this is going to be awesome for my dreams, but for you and I, this is going to be really hard.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I mean, hopefully I can catch you guys, man. And I think you guys are playing Columbus with El Nino, and you're also playing either Joliet or Chicago. So one of those two dates I'll be able to get out to for sure. And if not one of those, the headline, I'm traveling. I don't care.
Absolutely.
I'm doing it. So
I'm happy. I'm glad. I'm good to hear.
man, but man, Marty, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me again.
Absolutely.
As always, it's been awesome. And
you have my number. If you're coming to one of the shows, you just call me up and I'll take care of you.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. And man, I know it's been 5 or 6 months since the record, but the record kicks ass front to back, man. Amazing.
It's my favorite one. It's my favorite one that's so far. Yeah.
Mine too. Hell in My Heart was good. This one blows it out of the park. So
thank you. I think my favorite song on this album is the last one, the Forgiven song, where we just said, let's do a 5-minute song. All right. It's my favorite one. It's like no rules.